Hey, what's up guys? Brad here. So today I want to talk about the power of compounding in the stock market. And in order to illustrate the power of compounding, I want to talk about the story of chess, okay? So the game of chess was invented 1400 years ago in India. Now, the inventor of the game showed the game of chess to the king, and the king absolutely loved the game, okay? Now he told the inventor, he said, "Name your reward, and it shall be yours." Now the inventor understood the power of compounding. So, he takes this chessboard and he says, "I want you to put 1 grain of rice on the first square of the chessboard. And I just want you to double it on each subsequent square. So 1 grain, 2 grains, 4 grains, 8 grains, all the way to the 64th square. And all I want is the number of grains that end up on the 64th square." So, the king thought to himself, well, I was prepared to give you, a handsome reward, but sure, if that's what you want, I'll give you that. So he says to the treasurer, go and calculate how many grains of rice that is, and we'll give that number of grains to this inventor of the game of chess. So, a week later, the king hasn't heard from the treasurer. So, he calls him up and says, "Hey, what's happening? How many grains of rice do we need to prepare for this guy?" And the treasurer says, "Well, there's a problem. We don't have that many grains here in the kingdom. There aren't enough grains in the country to pay this guy. In fact, there aren't enough grains in the whole world of rice to give this guy, what we said we would give him." So in order to put it in dollar terms, if you calculate what that number of grains are worth that end up on the 64th square, you've got about $42 trillion based on today's rice prices, which I just looked up, $13.20 per 100 pounds of rice. And that's assuming there's 29,000 grains of rice in 1 pound. Just to put in perspective, $42 trillion. Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, today his wealth is valued at about $147 billion. So 42 trillion, is 286 times the wealth of Jeff Bezos. So 286 Jeff Bezoses would be the equivalent of the wealth that this man would have, having that number of grains of rice that you'd end up with on the 64th square. So, it's an illustrative example of the power of compounding. How does that relate to the power of compounding, your money in the stock market? Well, if you take the rule of 72, it says, your interest rate, what you're earning in the stock market, you take 72 divided by your interest rate, and you get the number of years it takes to double your money. So, say you're making 12% per year, okay? Now in 6 years, you're going to have 72. So in 6 years, your money is going to double if you're making 12% per year. Now, the power of compounding really happens when you're making money on your money. So say you start with $1,000 and you're making 12%. So after 6 years, you've got $2,000 because you've doubled your money. Now, if you leave that $1,000 of earnings in your account and you can double it again, that's when you start to see the power of compounding. When your interest is making money on itself. okay? So it's really important that in order to compound your money in the stock market, you're not, taking the money out that you earned and just leaving your principal to grow, because you're going to stay in the same spot. If you invest $1,000 and you constantly withdraw your earnings, you're just going to continue to have $1,000 in there. But when you leave it in and you let it grow upon itself, that's the snowball effect that Warren Buffett talks about. His autobiography is named The Snowball, because the money, grows upon itself. That's really the power of compound interest, the power of compounding your money over time. So, I just wanted to share that tale of chess to really illustrate the power of compounding, because we humans, we don't really think in terms of compound growth, exponential growth. We think in terms of linear growth. And there's a huge advantage when you're talking about finances, when you're talking about a lot of things, learning. The whole virus thing we've seen lately, that has a compound kind of exponential trajectory as well, where you get these doublings every certain period of time if it's left unchecked. And so, to be fluent in terms of, thinking about compounding and exponential growth really gives us a huge advantage, rather than thinking just linearly. For example, growing this YouTube channel, if I were just to think of it linearly, the prospect of reaching 4,000 watch hours or 1,000 hours, 1,000 subscribers before I can monetize this channel, that prospect, if I'm just looking at the growth in the early stages, it's a little daunting. If I'm looking linearly, it's going to take forever for me to monetize this channel, because when you get started in compounding, if you look at the first couple squares on that chessboard, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, it starts slowly, right? The snowball is very small in the beginning, and it doesn't seem to grow very fast, okay? But when you understand compounding, you understand that even if you start with very small numbers, they get large after not that many doublings, okay? If once you have 10 doublings, you have 1,000 times what you start with. So, even though it seems small in the beginning, if you're fluent in how to think about compounding, how to think about exponential growth, you can stay the course through what seems to be small growth in the beginning, because you know what's coming. All right, you know that hockey stick growth is just around the corner. So, I just wanted to share that tale, and every once in a while, I'm going to put out videos about compounding, because it's important for me to really integrate those lessons. And even if they don't get that many views, compounding doesn't seem super popular among YouTube videos right now. But it's such an important concept that, in order to really learn it, I'm committed to making videos about it every couple weeks or so. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Smash that thumbs up button if you did. Hit that subscribe button, because I am putting out a video every day, guys. Most of them are about investing in the stock market. Some of them are about my journey creating this YouTube channel and keeping you guys posted on, what's happening, how my growth is going, and really hoping to inspire some of you who maybe want to start your own YouTube channels but just haven't, for whatever reason, haven't, jumped over whatever hurdles you have in your way to launching your own channel. So that's all I got for today, guys. I will see you in the next video. Take care and stay safe.